Well, this video is a little late. I really wanted to react and rant, or whatever you want to call it, shortly after the Chiefs just lost that game to the Chargers. But I had a week. It was a week, and it was a very busy day that evening and the rest of the week, and I just never really got around to it till now. But the Chiefs play tomorrow against the Philadelphia Eagles, and so I'm back to thinking football, and I wasn't even going to make the video. I just feel like, it's almost too late by now. But you know what? I got to. I can't help myself. Once again, I don't have my little man with me. He'll be back tomorrow. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Doing this is a little joint thing with my son, so we're having a good time doing it. And here on this channel, it's going to seem like a lot of negativity. It does. There's a lot of negative, but I promise you it's all from this deep-seated optimism. I promise you it's there. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about the last game. Okay, so let's start with the negatives. I mean, and there's a lot. You saw the game. The negatives are obvious. Chiefs defense is still a dumpster fire. It has not improved one week to the next. In fact, it just seems to be almost getting worse. I will say that they started off the game okay. They did get a few stops early on, but it's hard to tell sometimes with the Chiefs. Is it them or is it the other team? It's hard to tell. But they did a better job against the run. But again, the contra side to that is the Chargers aren't really good at running the ball. So I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. But the negatives is that the defense is still terrible. The other negative is that the Chiefs offense, while moved the ball all day long, still made so many critical mistakes. 4 turnovers. That's got to be the first time the Chiefs had 4 turnovers since Mahomes have been there, at least that I'm aware of. Another negative here is that we just lost a game in the division. So we are now in last place, looking up to 3 teams that the Chiefs are definitely better than. They're not playing like that right now, but I think you would expect them to be better than those other 3 teams. And then the biggest disappointment to me, honestly, is probably Mahomes in this game. It was by far his worst game as a pro, but it was also another game, back-to-back games where the Chiefs had the ball with a chance to win at the end and didn't get it done. That never happens. I mean, the whole thing about the Chiefs and Mahomes and what's made them so good is that if they had the ball, the game was over. I mean, you knew that they were going to go down there and score, and now everyone's losing confidence in that. It's back-to-back games. First game wasn't Mahomes' fault. It was a fumble. But the second game was. Really, really poor decisions late in that game. Really a lot of poor decisions throughout that game. Ball security should have been a focus in the off week after losing the game to the Ravens because of ball security. And in turn, it just got worse. I don't like the coaching decisions. I don't like what's going on in defense at all. I don't like the coach's decisions of who's playing in these games. There's just a lot of negatives going on with the Chiefs right now. The biggest negative is just the fact that they keep losing. I know it's only 3 games in, but I mean, the whole talk earlier this year, 20-0 and all the nonsense, and we're 1-2. I mean, it's early, but it still sucks. But now I need to address what's really irritating me, though, besides just the Chiefs playing badly. And that is the way the media is responding to it. Everyone is on this Charger bandwagon now. They dropped the Chiefs to pass number outside of the top 10 in the power rankings, which is just ridiculous because they lost a couple games that they should have won other than a turnover at the end of the game. I mean, the way the media and these experts overreact is just absurd to me. It's one thing to overreact because of how the Chiefs are playing, but to overreact to the win-loss, if the Chiefs would have won the game, all of a sudden they're still number 3 or whatever. They overreact so much, it's ridiculous. And then, of course, they're also really just riding the Chargers' ass now. They were already in love with the Chargers. Now they're just looking for a reason to crown them king. And I don't mean they're the best team in the NFL, but the media's been on the Chargers for years. Always talking about the Chargers are going to, beat the Chiefs and win the division and all this nonsense. Now Justin Herbert got there and it just amplified everything, which he is a good quarterback. But regardless, the media has just swarmed on the Chargers. Here's the thing. This is what is so irritating to me. Look what had to happen for the Chargers to win that game. It had to be a historically bad game for Mahomes, a historically bad game for their offense as far as turnovers go, a defense that doesn't know how to stop anything or anyone. It took 3 turnovers to start the game and a 4th turnover on the last drive that the Chiefs had to win the game. All of these things combined, and the Chargers still had to score on the last drive to win the game. They were losing. They were losing late in that game. I mean, it is ridiculous everything that had to go right for the Chargers for them to win that game because it wasn't close. The Chiefs were moving up and down the field with no problem whatsoever. 3 of those 4 turnovers, the first 3 that started the game, happened in scoring position already. There was a field goal locked up. And then 2 of them were in the red zone. So, I mean, the Chiefs were moving the ball up and down the field. It could have been a 21-0 game for the Chiefs right in the first quarter. It just a complete meltdown by the Chiefs on offense and, of course, defense later on in the game. But somehow the Chargers are now like awesome. Now, I do got to give some credit, though, to Herbert because he played awesome. And he beat the hell out of Mahomes in this game. He was a much better quarterback. He was more consistent. He was more accurate. He definitely made better decisions. And he just seemed to be more confident than Mahomes. It's rare to see Mahomes not being the most confident one in the game, and he definitely wasn't in this game. I do like the Chargers coach, and I do like the Chargers quarterback. I think their aggression was awesome. Of course, it could have backfired if it didn't work. I mean, the Chiefs did stop them a few times on these 4th down conversions, and then they ended up blowing it because of a penalty. Some of these ghost penalties that no one even still understands why they got called, but that's beside the fact. I'm not even going to talk about refs and flags because the Chiefs are just playing so badly that they don't deserve any kind of break, in my opinion. I give Herbert credit because he did what Mahomes didn't do in this game. And now, granted, he's going against a much worse defense. Like, I could probably go score against the Chiefs defense right now. But again, Mahomes is the class of the league, and he had his opportunity in this game, and he just didn't do it. But Herbert did. So I give credit to the Chargers, to Herbert specifically, and the coach for the decisions they made in this game. But let's be real. The Chiefs are a better team than the Chargers. Look at everything that had to go wrong for the Chargers to win that game. I mean, it's absurd. 3 turnovers in a row to start the game, another turnover to finish the game, a defense that can't stop anyone. I mean, it was just all these dominoes had to fall, and they still had to score at the end to win that game. It's just crazy to me. But the media and these so-called experts just think that they know the Chiefs inside and out, and they know these other teams inside out, and they just think they're experts in everything. A local fan is going to be an expert on their team better than these experts sitting in New York or LA pretending they know everything about every team in the league. It's ridiculous. They don't know the ins and outs. Half of them don't even know what players are playing. I'm not trying to knock on all the analysts. I like watching the shows. I mean, I think it's entertaining, but that's the point, is it's entertaining. And for them to think that the Chargers are a better team than the Chiefs is absurd. It's absurd. They won that game, but hell, they weren't even the better team in that game. They just happened to win it. That's my thoughts on that game. It was really, really upsetting as a Chiefs fan to see them, well, that's the other thing. The media keeps talking about the Chiefs. Oh, they could be 0-3 right now. They could be 0-3. We're also 2 turnovers at the last drive of the game away from being 3-0. I mean, we can play this stupid Monday morning quarterback and what-if games and hypotheticals all day long. The fact is we are 1-2. And we could just as easily be 3-0 as we could be 0-3. So let's stop the nonsense about what we could have been and what the records are. Fact is that the Chiefs have played like crap and still should have won all 3 of those games. That's the way of looking at it. That's why we call this negative optimism, because everything is bad right now, yet still the Chiefs are better than those teams. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on this. So here soon, we're going to see how they play against the Eagles. Now, if we struggle against the Eagles and we don't not only beat them, but we don't cover, we need to put our foot on the pedal and blow them out in this game by at least a touchdown. If we don't, it's time to start worrying. Because especially if we lose, oh my God, if we lose, because then the Bills are coming to town and we already have a tough schedule. And then, the way it started was bad. We got some tough teams coming. We got to win this game. We got to start looking a lot better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you soon. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like to see any other Chiefs talk or whatever, more negative optimism. And we'll see you all next time. Thanks.